Hey guys, so I'm coming with as you can tell by the title, a really hard video today. Um, so I decided when I went into the second trimester that I would do videos every 2 weeks. That way I'm not stressing myself out. That way I can just relax more. And I might actually have more to cover, seeing as I'm not exactly sure what to expect in the second trimester. Um, so I have been feeling really weird, just feeling really nauseous all day, and I just wasn't in the right mood to do the video. So I was gonna do it on Tuesday, but unfortunately we didn't quite make it that far for optimism. So Monday night, and just to let some of you guys know, as you know, per the title, it's gonna kind of be a TMI video, just in advance if you can't handle it. Um, so I felt something really weird, and I wasn't exactly sure what it was. And I went to the restroom, and I felt like a gush of like water. And then I continued to pee for maybe about 10 minutes. Um, but it wasn't urine. Obviously, it was just water. My guy, he usually has to wake up around 5 o'clock in the morning in order to. I need some tissue. I feel like I'm already starting to tear up. Um, he gets up at like 5 o'clock in the morning in order to go to work, and it was already 12:30, almost 1. So I felt like at the time, I didn't, I didn't want to wake him up, So I told him I was gonna go to the hospital, and when I arrived, um, mind you, I had to like completely, pad myself. I was leaking, and when I got to the hospital, they signed me in, and I had started to have some bleeding. Initially, I was like, everything's gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay. Whatever it is, she's been such a good baby. And so I was just like, it's probably something real stupid. I to me, it makes me feel stupid when I come somewhere and I'm like freaking out about something, and then people are like, dude, it's normal, right? But at the time, I'm thinking, make me feel stupid. I have no problem with that, because I would rather feel stupid and be like, I went to the hospital for no reason, than for me to actually be here for an issue. They immediately saw me. They did a do you know? They did a ultrasound, and um, we had an ultrasound, we had several pelvic scans. So they started doing all these tests, and they told me, they came back and said, we did 4 different tests, and 3 out of the tests are positive that you broke your water. And one of the tests was negative. They did that test 4 times, and it was negative each time. So they were saying, you break your water at 16 weeks, the baby doesn't survive. They said that the baby can't live without the fluid. They basically said, she's not gonna have any lungs when she's born. They gave me some options, but essentially everything they were telling me was bad. So by now I'm like weeping, like, those girls on the TV, and you're watching them cry, and you're like, ew. And they're like, ah, you're like full body, like weeping. Like, I had to like cover my face. That's how, and it's like, by this time it's like it's 2 o'clock in the morning, right? And it's dead silent. Like, I'm probably one out of 2 or 3 patients in the area that we're in the nurse triage. So I'm like crying so loud that I'm like trying to like shut myself up a little bit. I'm like, like it's bad. And they bring me tissues, and I could just tell, the ARNP was, I could tell that either she's a great actress, or she was like not expecting this to happen tonight, because I could tell from her face that like she knew, or that she felt like my devastation. Like, she was just standing there like, Jesus, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I can't even explain, I can't even imagine. And I'm weeping, because I'm like, and it's one of those cries where I'm in the middle of like trying to talk to her still, so I'm like trying to like explain or like ask questions, but I can't, and my whole body is just like locked in like a teary, you know. And she's just like, I'm really sorry, and the other nurse is like rubbing my arm, and I'm just like, I can't lose another baby. I just can't do it. I cannot do it. Like I think I probably said that like 7 times. Like I was just like, I can't do this. I was like, she needs to be fine. She needs to be okay. She just needs to come out. She just needs to be healthy in October. That's a long time from now. That is nowhere near now. We are just starting May. We do not need to be having a baby in May. You know, I had no plans for May. Looking through my calendar, I had no schedule in May that I should be having a baby at this time. Um, so I'm freaking out. And so they told me, you know, and at this time they're like, who do you have? Like, why are you here alone? Why did you come alone? And I'm like, I didn't think that I'd be here hearing this news. I thought that someone would be telling me something, but it wouldn't be, you're going to lose your baby tonight. Like, I didn't think that that is something that someone would be saying to me. Um, so she's like, where are your parents? Like, can you call your mom? And I'm like, my mom's in Missouri. My entire family's in Missouri. Tony's family's in Jersey. I have no one, like, and by this time I've called him at least twice. He's knocked out. Like I said, it's like by this time it's like 3 or 4, 3:30 in the morning, and he's dead asleep. The phone's on the floor. Like, it's probably not even hooked up to the charger. So that's like devastating me that I am going through this and that he doesn't even know. And not only does he not know, but last time I checked, he lets his phone like go to 15%. And I was like weeping at the thought that like he would just wake up and like not know where I was and not be able to. And I just, the whole thing, it was bothering me. So I called him probably like 7 times. I left him a voicemail that probably consisted of just tears and me saying like, baby, please come. Like, it was bad. I sent him a couple of text messages. Please come to the hospital. Like, please come be with me. I need you. And had another ultrasound. Um, Baby was in there kicking, and you know, by this time I can feel her. I can feel her in my belly. She's moving. Doing, she's doing something. I don't know what she's doing. She's swimming or something, or at least she was when I had more liquid. But I I see her on the screen and I immediately start crying because I'm just a weird kind of person. I don't really know how to explain it, but you telling me that my child is gonna die and then me seeing on the screen that she's fine and she's kicking and her heartbeat is good doesn't make any sense to me. Like I have no way to connect the dots here. To me, I'm like, but she's alive. Like I know what you're telling me, but she's alive. Like I get, the science of what you're saying, but she is on the screen and she's awake. Like don't I just need to see her and I need to see that she's fine. And so I go to my room and then that's when they come in and they say, obviously this is your decision. If you want to go home, you can. I said no. What's the plan? What do I do from here? So they were telling me that I needed to stay in the hospital. They were going to admit me and that in the morning they would have the high risk doctors talk to me. So, got some horrible options here, right? My first option was actually, if you think about all the options he gave, the first option is for me to go home and do nothing and pretend like this didn't happen. And they said this is the worst option that you can have. The worst. He said if you do that, you might risk chance of baby dying, you dying. You can get an infection that can cause issues in your uterus. I mean, he gave me all this stuff that could be happening: fever, bleeding, chills, all this stuff if I ignore it. My second option, which is the option that everyone was pushing, was for me to go ahead and terminate. They basically were saying, the baby doesn't have viability until week 24, which, for other women who are pregnant, for, people around the world, that means that if you give birth at 24 weeks, your baby has a chance of living. Anytime before that, it's slim to none. I'm so far away from 24 weeks that they're basically saying there's no chance of you making it that far. Uh, they said that if I stay pregnant, which is a part of the third option, I could get a really bad infection, and that I can get infected, the baby can get infected. Is that if I get an infection and it gets bad enough, I could have my uterus removed, which would mean after this, no more babies. It makes me want to cry just saying that. Um, um, and they were saying they usually don't do the terminations in the hospital, but with something like this, which is an emergency situation, they would do it in the hospital. I would come back to the hospital and they would take care of it. Or, as one of the doctors put it, we can just do it today, as if it was something that I can. You buy these jeans today, 50% off. Um, my third option was that we can try to see if we can make it to 24 weeks. Um, that's about what, 8.5 or 7.5, almost 8 weeks. And one of the doctors, she said that there was a high chance that if we try to make it, we're going to get an infection. It's not really an option, it's more like um, a possibility. Or I don't know what word I'm looking for. It's something that could happen regardless if we want it to happen or not. They said that usually when you're, you know, 38, 39, 40 weeks or more, when your water breaks, it's because it's time to go into labor. So it's hard because it's like I just want I want better options than that. You know, I want to know better options than that. I called my guy at like 4:05 and he sent me a text message literally the second I called him because my phone beeped and I was ringing at the same time. And he sent me a message that was just like, "Hey, are you okay? Is everything okay?" And I got him on the phone and he's like, "Baby, what's happening? Like, where are you?" And I'm just thinking like, "Come, like did you not get my messages?" Like, go to the hospital. I'm like, listen to me. So, and I can barely get out what I'm trying to tell him. And he's just like, what's wrong? What's wrong? What happened? What happened? And I'm just like, just, can you come to the hospital? Just please come to the hospital. I was like, the baby's not okay. Can you just come to the hospital? I couldn't even get out what I was trying to tell him. I'm just like, please just come. And he's just like, I'll be right there. I'll be right there. So, fast forward about an hour, he arrives. We go up to the room that I'm supposed to be admitted into. I freak out. And it's not like oh, this is weird freak out. It's like my body was shaking. I was like, I felt like I was going into shock because the moment I saw the room, it was like the moment I knew that like things were not going well. Because to me, I'm like, again, I'm that weird person that's like, this is a birthing room. Like, this is not just some random hospital room that you get admitted into just because you need a little extra help. Like, this is an actual room meant for people to have birth. Like, it had the bed, it had, like, it just had all the tools that you would need to give birth to a child. And I instantly, like, seized up and I was just like, I can't. And I start hyperventilating. And Tony's, like, holding me. And he's like, just calm down. Just breathe, calm down. And in my mind, I'm like, I can't. And I'm like, baby, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be in this room until October. I don't get one of these rooms until October. I want to leave. I don't want to be here. I want to be at home and fine. And he's just like, I know. He's like, calm down. Dr. Greaves, I think that was his name. He was probably like, he was just one of the nicest doctors, that like hospital ER doctors. He, like, I'm the kind of person where I want you to tell me the facts, but I want you to give them to me straight. Like, you can, I don't really want you to bullshit me any. Like, I like it when doctors are nice or they package it pretty, but I want you to make sure that I'm getting all the facts and you're not just like saying great things to make me feel better, you know? And he kind of went into detail and, you know, gave us examples or, you know, whatever. And while he's telling me this, I'm like full body weeping. Like, I couldn't handle it. This is probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Like, even with the first miscarriage, at least with that one, I didn't have a choice. I bled a lot. I had a tear and she was gone. But with this one, you're asking me to decide on my child's life, who I am so in love with, and she's alive. Like, you're asking me to decide the fate of a future human being who is still healthy. She's fine, and that's the issue. It's not like she is unable to breathe because, or she's unable to live because her heart doesn't work, or it's not like you're telling me like your child is currently like, you know, completely paralyzed and she's dead. Like, it's not like you're giving me something that would automatically say she's gone. You're giving me an option for a completely healthy baby that, for something that I don't agree with, you can agree with whatever you want, but for me personally, you're telling me that I have to abort a healthy child, and I could not handle it. I was weeping so hard, and I looked over at Tony, and he just kept, he's got glasses, so he kept doing this thing, and I know him, and I'm just like, Jesus, like, could we be in any worse of a situation? Could we? Um, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't. I still can't. You know, she's holding on, and I still can't. It's been almost 7 days, and I haven't gone into labor. I haven't had an infection. I've been drinking nonstop water. I've been drinking coconut water. They gave me antibiotics to help fight infections if that's what originally caused the rupture. They been taking vitamin C's, my prenatals. I've been doing everything I can, but I need her to stay healthy, and I need her to be alive, and I just need something to come through. I need something to work. I just want to thank everyone. I mean, just the outpour of love that I got, just like all the prayers that people gave and all the well wishes, and it's just it's amazing. It's amazing because it's like you don't realize how much you need that until someone gives it to you. I love you. Alright guys, this is a really long video, and I hope that when I go through the editing process, I do a great job, and that you guys get, you know, my side of the story. And, I hope that this is a long journey together. I hope that we spend lots of time together, because more time doing these videos and keeping hope and staying strong is more time that she's spending in my belly. So, thanks, guys.